ba? So, may lugi tayo na 50,000. Ganyan siya. So, ayan. Okay, Karim Company is considering the purchase of a used machine for 500,000. The machine would generate net cash inflow of 200,000 per year for 5 years. At the end of 5 years, the press would have no salvage value. The company's cost of capital is 12%. The company uses straight-line depreciation. What is the accounting rate of return on the initial or original investment assuming no taxes are paid? So, ang mangyayari nito, meron tayong net income. Hindi natin alam pa actually, di ba? Pero alam natin na ang depreciation is equal to 500,000 divided by 5. So, 100,000 depreciation. And alam din natin, ang cash inflow is equal to the net income plus depreciation. So, in this case, alam natin ang cash inflow, 200,000. Deduct natin yung depreciation. Mag-work back natin ngayon, yung 100,000. So, 100,000 divided by 500,000 na initial investment. Ito, makuha natin ang ARR, accounting rate of return na 20%. Next, ito na. Chain problems, number 51, 53. So, ang pinapahanap sa atin dito is, ano daw ang kukunin natin project? Assuming it has no budget restriction. So, pipiliin natin project dito ay lahat na may positive NPV, which is project 2, project 3, project 4. So, letter C. And isa pang ma-notice nyo, it is always the case na pag mayroong positive NPV here, ang ating IRR is greater than the cost of capital. Tingnan nyo. Palagi yan. Pag positive ang NPV, ang ating IRR is greater than the cost of capital. So, same yun palagi. Kung anong decision natin sa NPV, it's also the decision we will get if IRR ang ginamit natin. Pero hindi always yun sa profitability index. Kasi ang profitability index, pwedeng magkaroon tayo ng mataas na NPV, pero mababa ang profitability index. And what does that mean? Ibig sabihin nun na, for example, meron tayong investment, 10 million, pero ang return natin sa kanya, 100,000. Do you think mataas ang profitability index ito? Mababa yan dahil ang laki ng initial investment. Di ba? 10 million to 100,000. Pero if ever, 100,000 din ang kinita natin, pero ang investment na natin is 1 million. Di ba mas malaki ang profitability index na makuha natin dito? Di ba? For example, isa pa, 90,000 lang nakuha natin. Mas mataas pa rin ang profitability index natin kahit mababa ang kanilang NPV. So, ang profitability index and NPV, magkakaiba sila ng ranking. Pero yung NPV and IRR, same ranking ang makuha natin sa kanya. Next. Which projects should Yoroshika Corporation undertake for the upcoming year if it only has 600,000 of the funds available? So, ang pipiliin na natin dito ay ang may highest profitability index. Dahil ang profitability index, ulitin ko lang uli, ang mini-measure niya ay ang return per peso investment. Ang NPV kasi, kinukuha niya for the whole project, ito yung makuha nating value. Ang profitability index, makuha natin dyan per peso investment, ito ang present value na may increase natin. Okay? So, may kita natin dito, may increase tayo sa present value na 12% and 7% for Project 3 and Project 4. So, sila ang ating priority dahil 250 and 275 ang cost nila. So, pasok sa 600. Hindi na natin pwede kunin ng Project 2 dahil sobra na sa budget natin. Sobra na. Ayan. Number 3. Which project should Yoroshika Corporation undertake during the upcoming year if it only has 300,000 of the capital funds available? So, 300,000 na lang. Ito na lang pinakamataas na profitability index na pipiliin natin. So, number 54 to 57, actually, number 54 to 57, actually, ito na yung pinakamahirap na problem for capital budgeting dahil nandito na lahat ng concepts na kailangan nyo malaman. So, di-discuss natin ito. Pag-practicean nyo itong problem nito kasi kumpleto na siya. In order to increase production capacity, Full Metal Company is considering replacing an existing production machine with a new technologically improved machine effective January 1. Basahin na natin yung mga information niya. Yung cost daw is 170,000 in cash, and additional 30,000 for shipping, installation, testing. So, ang ating capitalizable cost is 200,000. Next, the old machine, book value 60,000, tapos meron tayong savings na 50,000. Kasi yan yung proceeds eh. So, meron tayong deduction na 50,000. Tapos, meron pa tayong savings, tax savings. So, ano yung tax savings? Ang concept ng tax savings is if yung book value natin and ang ating proceeds ay hindi parehas. Ibig sabihin, meron tayong proceeds na 50,000. Meron tayong book value or carrying value na 60,000. So, nagkaroon tayo ng loss. Di ba? Pag nagbenta tayo, nagkakaroon tayo ng loss. 10,000. Yung loss na yan, it will be a deduction sa ating tax. Di ba? Bababa ang ating taxable income. Ibig sabihin, bababa ang ating tax liabilities. So may benefit tayong nakuha dahil tayo ay nagkaroon ng loss. Nakasunod? So dahil tayo nagkaroon ng loss, may benefit tayong makuha, which is loss times the tax rate, which is 25%. So ang meron tayong tax savings na 2,500. So that will be also a deduction, 2,500. Okay. Next, if the new machine is not bought, the old machine will need to be repaired for 30,000. So kailangan daw siyang ma-repair at a cost of 30,000. So tandaan nyo, avoidable cost yan. Dahil bibili tayo ng machine na bago, hindi na natin yan may incur. Di ba? Hindi na natin siya may incur. So, nakamura tayo ng 30,000 technically. Kasi kailangan natin bayaran yan if hindi tayo bibili ng bagong machine. At dahil bibili tayo ng bagong machine, hindi na natin siya may incur. Okay? So, ang avoidable cost is equal to 30,000 pesos. So, avoidable cost, tandaan nyo, this is always net of tax. Bakit? Bakit minus tax pa natin siya? Dahil, ang avoidable cost will be an expense. Di ba? Expense yan. So, meron niyang expense and it will have an effect on the taxable liabilities. Paano? Expense is a deduction of taxable income. Dahil bumaba ang ating taxable income, bababa ang ating tax liability. Di ba? So, may savings tayo nakukuha dahil nagkakaroon tayo ng expense. So, i-deduct natin yung tax, which is 30,000 times 25%, which is 7,500. Ayan. So, ang ating avoidable cost, net of tax, is 22,500. Deduct natin yan. Minus 22,500. Savings kasi yan Di ba? Next, meron tayong increase in working capital of 40,000. So, that will be an increase, 40,000. Ayan yan. Ito na ang ating initial investment. So, 200 minus 50,000 minus 2.5 minus 22.5 plus 40, that is 165,000. Yan ang ating initial investment. So, ulitin ko lang uli So, ang concept kasi na relevant sa atin dito is yung relevant cash flows. So, ang relevant cash flows, ito yung ating incremental cash flows. Kung ano lang yung magbabago. Ano lang yung difference nilang dalawa. Okay? So, meron yung tatlo. That is the initial cash outflow or initial investment or net investment. Next, assume natin may 5 years, di ba? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Ayan, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is ang ating operating cash flows. Yan yung nakukuha natin cash flows dahil nag-ooperate tayo. And lastly, may tinatawag tayong terminal cash flows. Nandito yun sa year 5, sa last year. Terminal cash flows. So ano ba yung laman ng terminal cash flows? Ang terminal cash flows, nandyan yung ating salvage value. So, cash inflow to salvage value. Tapos, nandyan din ang ating recovery of nandiyan ang ating recovery of working capital. Tapos meron din tayo dyang deduction of decommissioning cost. Tapos meron din tayong pwede tayong magkaroon dito ng tax savings or tax due. Okay? So plus tax savings minus tax due. So, paano nagkakaroon ng tax savings and tax due dito sa ending? Tandaan nyo, magkakaroon ng tax savings or tax due sa terminal cash flow if ang salvage value is not equal to the book value at the year end. So, pag equal sila, wala kasing gain or loss doon. Pag nagkaroon ng gain or loss sa dulo, magkakaroon ng effect sa ating terminal cash flows. Okay ba? Okay. So, ano ba yung initial cash outflow natin? Ito yung tinatanong dito sa umpisa, yung initial investment. So, laman niya, nandyan yung ating capitalizable asset, nandyan yung cost, nandyan yung ating directly attributable costs, tapos nandyan din yung ating DAX yan, tapos directly attributable cost, minus yung ating, ano ba yung kanina? Ayun, avoidable cost. Tandaan nyo, avoidable cost is always net of tax. Always net of tax yan. Tapos meron din tayong proceeds from the sale. Tapos meron din tayong tax savings. Tapos plus tax due. So, pwede magkaroon ng tax due pag nagkaroon tayo ng gain. So, baliktad sila dito sa terminal cash flows. Yung tax savings, it is an increase dahil nga ito ay cash inflow. Inflow to. Ito kasi, this is cash outflow. Okay? So, magkaiba silang effect. Tax due. Tapos, add natin dito pa yung additional working capital. So, ayan ang ating operating cash flows, initial cash outflow, and terminal cash outflow. Ito ang ating relevant cash flows. Nakasunod ba kayo doon? Okay. Next. Ayan, ito yung formula. Yung kanina, sinulat na rin pala natin to. Ito naman. Ang hinahanap sa atin dito yung operating cash inflow for the first year. So, ito, madami oh. There's 3 ways of solving this. Iisa lang yung lalabas sa sagot dito. Una-una, yung pinaka-favorable ko or pinaka-preferred kong gamitin, which is ito, yung conversion of net income to cash inflow. Pinaka-madali siyang gamitin actually. Kasi conducive siya for solving. Parang madali lang siyang gawin. So, sales. So, that is 50 pesos. Ito. Kasi sales price. Mali to ah. This is 40 pesos pala. 40 pesos times 20,000. Ayan. Nagkamali lang. Pero 800 pa rin siya, di ba? 40 times 20,000. Ayan. Nagkamali lang. 40 times 20,000. That is 800,000. Tapos, 30 times 20,000. That is 600,000. Ayan na. Yung variable cost natin. Tapos meron tayong cash, fixed cost na 40,000 per year. So, i-deduct natin sa contribution margin na 200,000. Tapos meron din tayong depreciation. Tandaan nyo, ang depreciation na mahalaga sa atin, balikan natin dito sa kabila, ay ang incremental cash flow lang. Incremental depreciation lang ang mahalaga sa atin. Ano ba yung difference natin? So, meron na tayong original na depreciation na 30,000 per year, magiging 40,000 per year. Paano ko yung 40,000? Meron tayong cash price, 170 plus 30,000, di ba? Yan ang ating capitalizable cost sa FAR. Di ba naalala niyo? So, 200,000. Hindi yung 165 yung gagamitin natin ha. Yung 200,000, which is yung capitalizable cost lang. So, 200 divided by 5, that is 40,000. 40,000 minus 30,000, that is 10,000 na depreciation. So, nag-increase yung depreciation natin. Ibig sabihin, nagkaroon tayo ng tax shield. Mamaya, didiscuss natin yan. So, ayan, makuha 200 minus 40 minus 10, that is 150,000. Multiply by the tax rate of 25%, makuha natin 37,500. Tapos, makuha natin dyan yung net income na 112,500. Add back natin ang depreciation, makuha natin ang cash inflow na 122,500. So, I hope that is clear. Ganyan kunin ang cash inflow. So, baka nalilito kayo, paano nangyari yan? Bakit nagdeduct tayo ng depreciation? Kanina pa natin ginagawa yun eh. Nagdeduct tayo ng depreciation to get the net income. From the net income, alam natin ang depreciation is not a cash inflow. Diba? Hindi siya cash inflow, hindi siya cash outflow. Walang cash na involved sa depreciation. It is a non-cash expense. So, kailangan natin siyang i-add back dahil dineduct natin siya to get the net income. Tama ba? So, proof na 122,500 talaga. Meron tayong cash inflow, 800,000. Meron tayong variable cost, 600,000. Meron tayong cash paid for fixed cost, 40,000. Meron tayong cash paid for tax, 37,500. So, lahat yan, ang effect niyan is 122,500. Gets nyo? So, next, what if naman gusto natin makuha naman yung tax shield? Ano ba yung tax shield? Yun yung savings na nakuha natin dahil nagkaroon tayo ng depreciation. So, tingnan natin dito ah. Meron tayo ditong contribution margin 200,000 minus cash na fixed cost of 40,000. So, meron tayong cash inflow before tax na 160,000. Ang tax na babayaran natin kung walang depreciation is 40,000. Ito. Di ba? So, nakita nyo, may savings tayong nakuha. Ang tax na binayaran natin is 37,500 lang. Pero kung wala tayong depreciation, ang babayaran natin tax is 40,000. So, may difference na 2,500. Yan yung tax shield from depreciation. So, that is 10,000 times 25%. So, meron tayong net cash inflow. Kunin natin yan lahat. 160 minus 40 plus, 160 minus 40 plus 2.5, that is 122,500. Same silang lahat. Kahit ano dyan, pwede nyo gamitin. Pero ang preferred ko, syempre, ito. Kasi, pinakamadali siya. And, conducive siya. Di mo na kailangan mag-isip ng tax shield or kung ano-ano pa. Tuloy-tuloy lang. Basta i-add back nyo lang yung depreciation from net income to cash inflow. Ayan. Net present value. Ito, tuturo ko na din sa inyo dalawang way. Di ba kanina nakita nyo na meron tayong initial cash outflow, operating cash flow, and terminal cash flow. So, from this, pwede natin siyang isolve ng ganito. May operating cash flow tayo na 122,500 per year. So, multiply na natin yan sa PV of ordinary annuity. Itong terminal cash flow, sa dulo pa to, ito yung 40,000 na working capital na ma-recover natin at the end of year 5. So, multiply na natin siya sa PV of 1 at the end of the 5 years, which is 0.621. And ang PV ng ating initial cash outflow is 165 dahil, bakit 1? Kasi this is period 0. Lahat ng period 0, ang PV niyan is equal to 1. Palagi yan. Kaya, ang initial cash flow natin is negative 165. So, kunin na natin lahat. Add natin lahat ng kanilang PV. Makuha natin ng 324,238 na PV or net present value. Or, we can do this. So, this is another way of solving yung ating NPV. So, year 0, ito yung ating initial cash flow. Yan yun. Initial cash flow yan. Diba? Atong year 1 and year 5, ito muna, year 1 to year 4, itong ating operating cash flow. Sa year 5 kasi, nagdalawa na siya. This is also the operating and terminal. Kasi last year na siya eh. So, yan, naghalo na. Nandito yung working capital recovery. Diba? Ito yun, no? Yan yung terminal cash flow natin. Naghalo na siya dyan sa year 5. So, ang makukuha natin dito, hindi siya exact na 324,238. The reason why is dahil dito sa PV factors natin. So, same lang dapat ang lalabas sa sagot dyan. Pero dito kasi nag-round off tayo. Pero if walang rounding off na nangyari, same yung lalabas sa sagot dyan. So, you can also use this. Kunin nyo lahat ng cash inflow per year, tapos multiply nyo sa PV of 1. Diba? Kasi diba, ang PV of ordinary annuity is the sum of PV of 1. So, pwede yan. It can also be used. Next, the overall discounted cash flow impact of Full Metal Industries working capital investment for the new production machine would be, so ano daw ang ating net working capital or net present value ng ating working capital? So, ang ating initial investment, nandun yung working capital. Tama ba? Tingnan nyo. Andito. Additional working capital. Ang PV niyan is PV of 0. Diba? So, that is equal to 1. Ganun siya. So, ang PV factor niya is equal to 1. So, negative 40,000. Tapos ito naman, at the end of the life, di ba, magiging terminal cash flow na siya. Papasok sa atin yan. And tandaan nyo na lang din, ang working capital ay walang tax effect. Kasi ano yan eh, yung working capital, yun yung investments nyo. Current assets investments yan. Yan yung inventories, yan yung cash change, yan yun. So at the end of the life of the project, pwede nyo na uling gamitin yung funds na ginamit nyo sa kanya. Di ba? So walang tax effect yan. So deduct natin, that is a cash inflow. So ang net present value natin is, letter C, negative 15,160. Okay, ito naman tayo. The objective function of a linear program Kaiju would use to determine the optimal monthly production for each would be, ito, 200B plus 150C. Diba? Yung ma-maximize natin contribution. Ito yung objective function natin. Next, the mixing constraint. So, sabi niya dito, meron tayong 800 hours para sa mixing department, 1,200 hours for the packaging department. So, for mixing department, ang ating constraint is 2B plus 2.4C. is less than or equal to 800 hours. Ganun siya. Okay ba? I hope that is clear. Okay, number 60 to 61. Pinapahanap sa atin dito yung net present value. Ano daw yung net present value ni Project A? Si Project A, meron siyang IRR na 16%, tapos ang cost of capital na 18%. So, gagamitin natin itong 18% na 0.4371 na PV dahil ang cash inflow natin ay marirealize lang after 5th year. So, at the end of the 5th year, doon lang natin siya ma-realize. So, PV of 1 lang gagamitin natin sa kanya. So, 0.4371 times 7,400,000 is equal to 3,234,540. Deduct the initial investment of 3,500,000. So, may net present value tayong negative 265,460. Letter C. Next. Project B's internal rate of return. So, ang gagawin natin dito is i-work back natin. Alam natin, ang PV of cash inflow natin is 9,950,000. Tapos, ang ating PV of cash outflow is equal to 4 million. Dahil, at IRR, ang ating NPV is always equal to 0, ibig sabihin niya ng ating PV of cash inflow is also equal to this. Diba? Equal din siya sa cash outflow natin. So 4 million yan, and ang ating undiscounted is 9,950,000. So pag dinivide natin ng 4 million divided by 9.950, makuha natin 0.420. This is the PV factor. Okay? Di ba ang PV factor na yan, that is yung 1 plus rate raised to negative, ganyan siya. So alam natin, this negative n is 5 years, negative 5. Di ba? So 1 plus rate raised to negative 5. Pero hindi natin alam kung ano yung rate na gagamitin natin. Itong rate na to, this is the IRR. Ayan yan. Yan yung internal rate of return. So, one way of solving this is from deriving it from this. Pero hindi yan kaya isolve using yung normal calculator natin. Hindi yan kaya isolve using our normal calculator. So, one way we can do this is trial and error. Trial and error. Isolve nyo to. Yung using PV ng 15%, 16%, 18%, and 20%. Tapos makukuha yung PV nila, mumultiply nyo sa 9,950 kung sino yung pinakamalapit sa 4 million, siya yung magiging sagot. Pero, we can also use this PV factor na nakuha natin. So, 0.4020, hanapin na lang natin dito sa 5th year, sino yung pinakamalapit sa kanya. Diba? So, pinakamalapit sa kanya is yung 20%, 0.4019. So, 20% ang ating internal rate of return. Ganun. Okay, next. Tiamat Company reported the following data. So, ito, the long-term debt has an interest rate of 8% and its fair value is equal to its book value at year-end. The fair value of the equity capital is 2 million, greater than its book value. Tiamat's income tax rate is 25% and its cost of equity capital is 10%. What is the WACC to be used in the economic value added calculation? So, to compute for the WACC, alam natin yung cost, kunin natin yung cost na associated sa kanila, 10% sa equity. Itong 6% sa nanggaling to, that is 8% times 75% out of tax. Diyan galing yan 6%. Next, tandaan nyo, yung weight. Yung weight, may tatlo tayong ginagamit dyan. Order of priority. Number 1 is yung target market value. Pag given yan, yan yung gagamitin natin. Pag given yung fair value, yun ang gagamitin natin. Pag hindi given yung dalawang yan, syempre, book value gagamitin natin. Which is usually the case. Pero in this case kasi, given yung fair value niya long-term debt is equal to its fair value. So, long-term debt, ano ba yung long-term debt natin dito? 5 million. Tapos, yung fair value ng equity capital natin is 2 million greater than its book value. So, paano natin kukunin yung ating equity capital? Kunin mo natin yung book value niya. So, that is 4 million plus 16 million. That is 20M. This one, 20 million yan. Tapos, ito, current liabilities. And non-current liabilities, that is 7M. So, ang ating equity is 20 minus 7 million. That is 13 million. Dahil ang equity capital natin is 2 million greater than its book value, so plus 2 million. Makuha natin ang fair value na 15 million. Okay? So, yan yun. Yan yung gagamitin natin weight sa kanila. 5 million kay long-term debt, yan yung fair value niya. Equity, 15 million, yan yung fair value niya. So, 25%, that is from 5 million divided by 20. 75%, that is from 15 million divided by 20 million. Multiply lang natin yung weight sa cost. So, 25 times 6%, 75 times 10%, that is equal to 9% na WACC. Next, nakuha natin yung WACC. 9%. We'll now use yung net income. Net income is itong pre-tax operating income times 75%. So that is 3 million. Itong desired income, kung kanina, ang ginagamit nating weights is the fair value. This desired income is always the book value. Book value yan. So book value, paano yung nakuha? 4 plus 16 plus minus 20, minus 2, minus 5. So, ayan yan. So, this 13 million times 9%, that is 1,620,000. Okay. So, ang difference nila, that is 1,380,000. Number 64 to 67. So, Gojira Corporation manufactures and sells mugs with college names and slogans. Last year, the mugs sold for 750 pesos each, and the variable cost to manufacture them is 225 per unit. The company needed to sell 20,000 to break even. The net after-tax income last year is 504,000. Gojira's expectation for the coming year include the following. So, ito yung expectation niya for the year, the current year, or the next year. Diba? Kasi currently, nagbebeta tayo 750 and 225. So, magiging sales price daw, 900. Variable cost, mag-increase daw by 1/3. Tapos, ang ating fixed cost would increase by 10%. Tapos yung income tax rate, 40%, hindi magbabago. So, ang selling price natin, to maintain the same contribution margin rate last year, is 1,000. So, paano nakuha yan? So, that is yung selling price, 750 minus 225, that is 525, yung ating contribution margin. So, kunin natin yung contribution margin rate kasi gusto natin, same contribution margin rate pa rin tayo. So, ano daw ang selling price natin na magkakaroon tayo ng contribution margin rate na 70%. Alam natin yung variable cost natin is 300. So, paano nakuha yan? So, 225 times 1.3333. Ganyan siya. Kasi increase by 1/3 eh. Diba? So, that is 300. So, 300 yan yung 30%. So, 30%, 300 divided by 30%, makuha natin ang 1,000. Ganun siya. So, ulitin ko lang uli paano natin ginawa to? Gusto natin same contribution margin rate siya last year. Pero alam natin, ang variable cost natin is constant na 300 na siya na bago. So, 225 times 1.333 yan. Makuha natin yung 300 pesos per unit na variable cost. Alam natin na ang variable cost is equal to 30% of sales. So, 300 divided by 30%, that is 1,000. Next, the number of mugs Gujiras must sell to break even for the coming year. So, coming year na, gusto natin malaman dito ano yung magiging break-even point natin. So, kunin muna natin yung fixed cost kasi hindi given dito ano yung fixed cost natin eh. So, at break-even point na 20,000, yung break-even point natin to last year. So, 20,000 units, kunin natin yung ating fixed cost. So, 525 times 20,000, ito yun 525 times 20,000 units is equal to 10,500,000. Yan ang ating fixed cost for the current year. Diba? Kasi at break-even point, ang operating income natin is equal to 0. Next, yung break-even point natin for the projected year, ang fixed cost daw natin mag-i-increase by 10%. So, lagay natin 10,500,000 times 1.10, that is 11,550,000. Tapos, ang ating sales price, 900 minus variable cost na 300. May contribution margin tayo na 600. 600. So, ito yung contribution margin in total. Contribution margin divided by the contribution margin per unit, makukuha natin yung unit sold, which is equal to 11,550,000 divided by 600. So, ang break-even point natin is 9,250. Or we can use the formula, di ba? We can use the formula na fixed cost 11,550 divided by the contribution margin per unit, 600, is equal to 19,250. Same answer. So, assuming the sales for the coming year is expected to exceed last year by 1,000 units. If this occurs, Gojira's sales volume in the coming year must be or will be. So, ang current year unit sold natin ay kailangan natin kunin. Kasi mag-i-increase na naman ng 1,000. So, mag-plus 1,000 lang tayo. So, current year, kunin natin. May income tayong 504. 504 is the 60% of the operating income. So, 504 divided by 60%, makuha natin ang 840. Diba? 504 divided by 0.6. Tama, 840 yan ang ating operating income. Next, yung contribution margin hindi pa natin alam. Yung fixed cost, nakuha natin kanina, that is 10,500,000. So, add back natin. 10,500,000 plus 840, that is 11,340. So, makuha natin ang ating current unit sold, contribution margin divided by the contribution margin per unit, which is equal to current unit sold na 21,600. This one. Tapos, sabi niya, mag-increase lang tayo ng 1,000, so plus 1,000 lang. Ang projected unit sold that is 22,600. Number 67. Assuming Gojira Corporation estimates that it will earn 2,250,000 net income for the coming year, the company's sales volume in peso must be. So, ito daw yung ating net income. Ang net income is after tax. So, 2,250,000 divided by 60, makuha natin operating income. So, ulit ko lang this 2,250 divided by 60%. Yan. Kaya nagkaroon ng 3,750. 2,250 divided by 0.6. Tama, 3,750 yan. Next, alam natin yung fixed cost na dun sa projected na 11,550. So, add back lang natin. So, 3,750 plus 11,550, that is 15,300,000. So, ang 15,300,000 is equal to 15,300,000 is equal to contribution margin yan, di ba? So, ang contribution margin, it can also be CMR, contribution margin rate, times sales peso. Tama ba? So, ang CMR natin dito is 900 minus 300 is equal to 600. Yun yung contribution margin per unit. So, 600 divided by 900 is equal to 2/3 eh. Di ba? That's 2/3. So, 6.6666 infinity yan. So, ganun yan. So, 6.66.67 na lang. Times yung sales, hindi ba natin alam? Yan yung kailangan natin makuha, yung sales eh. Tapos, ang contribution margin natin is 15.3 M. So, 15.3 M divided by 66.67%. Makuha natin ang sales. That is equal to 22,950,000. Ayan. Next. This one. So, how much is the cash collection for the 4th year? So, ganito lang yan. Itong sales na to, for the month siya nakuha. Tapos, may cash collection daw tayo na 30%, 50% for the next month, 15% for the 2 months after the sale, tapos yung 5% is uncollected. Add nga natin lahat. So, this is 30 plus 50, that is 80%, plus 15, that is 95, plus 5. So, buo, in total, 100%. Yan. Di ba? Okay. So, try nga natin. Actually, pwede natin isolve yan this way. Yung pinakita ko dito. So, saan galing itong 29.4? So, this is from 30% times 98%. Kasi nga, may 2% cash discount dun sa magbabayad in the month of sale. Yun yung ibig sabihin yan. So, 30% times 98%. Kung sino lang yung nagbayad, di ba? Siya lang yung magkakaroon ng discount. Naalala nyo? Kapag may discounts natin, kung sino yung nagbayad within the discount period, siya lang yung may discount. So, lahat ito, itong 50%, itong 15%, wala nang discount yan. Yung magbabayad lang within the month of sale. Siya lang yung may cash discount na 2%. And since 30% yun, so 30% times 98%. So, yan na. Gawin na lang natin para mas madali. Gawin natin siyang table. Ganyan na. July, August, September, October, November, December. So, for the first month, 29.4 yung mga collect. For the second month, 50%. Tapos 15% sa third month. So, yan. Nilagay lang natin, inputs lang natin. Makuha na natin yung total collection for the fourth quarter. Ano ba yung fourth quarter? From this, October until December. Yan yung fourth quarter. So, 15%, 65%, 94%, 79%, 29%. Yan. Ganyan siya. Tapos, multiply natin yan sa sales. So, since wala tayong makukolect for the fourth quarter dun sa sales ng July, so 0. Tapos, ito, multiply lang natin. Makuha natin is 125,200. Yan. Ganun lang din. Tingnan nyo dito, in November, collections natin, 50%, 50%, 29.4. Multiply lang natin yan sa sales natin. Dito. Same lang din siya. Actually, ito, multiply naman natin siya dito. Kasi dyan siya related. So, yan. Makukuha natin 4812. Lastly, yung cash disbursement naman. Ang cash disbursement natin, 40% are paid in cash for the month of purchase and the balance is paid the following month. So, ibig sabihin, 40% this month, 60% next month. So, ganito. Ang hinalap sa atin is 4th quarter uli. So, that is from October to December. So, from October, 60% na makuha natin is yung sa September, tapos 40% sa October. Ganyan lang siya. So, kunin lang uli natin total, multiply natin sa purchases for that month. So, makuha natin total disbursement and cash disbursement actually for the fourth quarter, which is equal to 50,400. Ganyan lang siya. So, balikan nyo na lang. Try nyo i-resolve. Madali lang tong pre-boards. Practicein nyo lang. So, ayun. Good luck sa inyo. And good luck sa pagre-review.